So these drones are for my upcoming piece called Go for a Walk. I was working titled Walking Music for a long, long time, and they are controlled by field recordings. So their envelope comes from some field recordings. So you can see there are 6 recordings, 6 banks of drones, different pitches, and I'm going to show how I made that here in Ableton using Max4Live object. So first, just going to highlight one of them, and you can see there's a field recording here. That is where sort of all of the amplitude information is coming from. Then I have a set of 3 filters to divide up the sound space, sort of high, medium, and low. And then the note is actually one pitch class, but 3 octaves combining to create the sound. So there's actually 3 different objects here. And so what I've made is basically the audio comes in, goes into these synthesizers, and then comes out as this drone. So I can select the pitch from the outside, and then tuning as well, because this is a just intonation piece. So I have the sonogram and some spectroscopes for the left and right channel, and I'm going to get into kind of why this is all here. A lot of these controls, really I don't use them, but I was testing out different things when I was creating the piece, so that's why they're all here kind of in the presentation view. And I'll just open up the patch. And so right off the bat, basically selecting the pitch here. Again, the cents, you just have to divide, cents by 100, add them to the MIDI note, send it through a MIDI to frequency converter, and now you have just intonation frequency. So that's the quick and dirty way to do that. Then I'm sending that into an oscillator bank. So kind of the old school way to do it now that MC is around, but just a little bit simpler, I find anyway. And so these are the overtones of that fundamental. So I'm using even numbered overtones, and then these are the amplitudes of those overtones relative to each other. Just kind of a, for your information, peruse in your own time. And then there's additional sound coming from a Karplus-Strong algorithm. So if you've used Karplus-Strong before, basically it is a noise burst going into a delay line. So to create a drone with Karplus-Strong, the trick is you just don't have, typically if you're doing just one short sound, you can do it with one command by having a decay value of 0. But instead of letting it decay to 0, you're just going to hang it out at an amplitude for sort of indefinite time, because it never really receives a note off message. Then for the noise itself, instead of having just white noise, noise tilde object, I am using this rand tilde object, and you can see that the values going into that are changing, and I'll explain that in a second. And so that's just going into a delay line. The delay line is frequency converted to period in milliseconds. That's how you create pitch in Karplus-Strong. And then there's just some filtering and dampening so that it doesn't blow up. One thing about Karplus-Strong in Ableton compared to in Max is that you do not have control, at least as far as I could find, for the signal vector size. And so there's a limit to pitch. Typically with Karplus-Strong, basically if you want higher pitches, you put in a higher signal vector size. If you need lower pitches, put in a lower one. To be honest, I'm not totally understanding the math of that, but I just trial and error until I get the pitches I want. I understand generally the concept of it. But here I can't control the signal vector size as easily, so, or maybe at all as far as I can find. So I just had a quick and dirty sort of debugging where if it goes above a certain pitch, which is F4, I'm just lowering it by an octave before I send it to the Carplus-Strong side of the synthesis. Then I just have a low pass filter coming out, and I'm boosting the volume as well, and then we get to the envelope following part of the patch. So I literally just copied and pasted this out of the sort of stock Max4Live envelope follower. Has a nice little percentage rise and fall, which work with a slide object inside of this sub patch. So it's just taking the signal average and then, you know, an attack release, and that's just getting converted by this other little sub patch. That's again a stock thing. So I made my own. It didn't work quite as cleanly. I routed from the sort of stock plugin into this different version of this plugin. It was way more complicated, so I just took a little bit of their patch and stuck it in here. So this is the audio coming from the field recording. This is the plug-in audio going to the envelope follower, and then the values from the envelope follower are multiplying, you know, to change the envelope of the synthesizers here. And then I have 2 envelope followers, so for the left and right channel, and that's just because to create the same stereo space as the field recording has. So the field recordings were actually taken using some in-ear microphones, so a little microphone, looks like an earbud, wear them in your ears, and it kind of has that binaural recording effect. And so that was what I was looking to recreate with the drones. And then from the envelope follower, I've also got some cables running way back up to the top, which is controlling those rand tilde values. So basically, taking that amplitude from the field recording, adding it together, averaging it, scaling it into some values that work well for the timbre of the Carplus-Strong sound. So basically, if it's a louder sound, it's going to have more overtones. If it's quieter coming from the field recording, it has fewer overtones. So you can see and hear it kind of jump up there. If we take a peek, sure enough, there's a little bit of a peak. And so you can hear the timbre following that, which is pretty nice. I really like the way that sounds, the way that worked out. And then all that is just coming to the plug out. There's a gate on the whole thing, turn it on and off. And that just comes from whether or not the audio is running, because these synthesizers, both the oscillator and the Carplus-Strong, they're kind of just running all the time. And then I just have those spectroscopes and the sonogram there so I can see what's going on from outside the patch. The sonogram looks cool. Really, that's the only reason for that. And then to just come out to the main patch again, or to the live set, as it were, just to highlight kind of that timbre change. You can hear that nice little sort of cascade, and you can see it as well in the sonogram. So that is how I made that. There's many ways to approach any problem. If you would do something totally different, let me know. Write in the comments how you might have approached this type of project, or if you've seen some plugins that already do this kind of thing. This is what they sound like all together, and then in the full version of the piece, the soundscapes are mixed back in. These are just kind of the raw, unfiltered versions that I'm adding in now. This piece, Go for a Walk, which was working titled Walking Music for a long time. I've been working on it for since October 2021 at this point. Kind of been gradual composition. It is nearly finished, and so it'll be released sometime soon, and all that work could not have been done without the support of Sask Arts. So thank you very, very much for their support. for this project through the Independent Artist Grant Program. And that is just a little video to explain how I was working on this program, and I thought it would be interesting to share. So thanks for watching. That's all for now.